So last week I had the unenviable task of ranking all 30 of Carpenter's singles in America, the 30 official singles. That was hard enough. I decided to do all of their album tracks, or most of their album tracks, next. Talk about a gut-wrenching experience, because I love them. There's not much they do that I don't like. There's a few songs I don't care for over others, but overall they're fun and I love listening to them. But this is what I did. I went through all of their albums. I'll explain exactly what doesn't qualify and stuff as we get into it, as I rank my top 30 Carpenters album tracks. I'm TC Kirkham, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun, so let's rank this. Hello everybody, VC and everyone else out there. I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Welcome to Rank This, my top 30 Carpenters album tracks. This was not easy to do. The Carpenters released 11 albums over the course of their career that were mostly new material. And then there were hits albums and solo albums and stuff. Those are not counted here. So, let me explain how I'm going to do this. They did like, I think 70, 80 some songs. I cut it down to my top 30. I'm not going to rank the whole list. The albums that are included in the ranking are the 11 standard albums that recorded standard material. So the holiday albums are not here. The solo albums are not here. The compilation albums are not here. So what you get will be the tracks from Offering / Ticket to Ride, Close to You, Carpenters, A Song for You, Now and Then, Horizon, A Kind of Hush, Passage, Made in America, Voice in the Heart, and Love Lines. There were songs that were considered from the two compilation albums which featured some unreleased material from the 90s and the 2000s as time goes by and interpretations. Ultimately, none of them made my top 30. So that's where we're going to go with that. Also, I included only full-length songs. So none of the medleys that they did over the years, the Bacharach David medley, the Oldies medley, none of the songs in those groupings are counted. I also elected to disqualify the bookend tracks, which are Invocation and Benediction from Offering, Aurora and Eventide from Horizon, and the 30-second, less than 30-second long intermission from A Song for You. Everything else was included, and oh my God, I had a hell of a time. Oh, the songs that were originally recorded for Karen's solo album that were included on Love Lines were also not counted. Everything had to be for a duo project. So, there you go. This was not easy. This was incredibly hard. And I will say that there is at least one song from each of the 11 albums on the top 30. And some of them, I mean, I actually ended up with more from a couple albums than I expected, because I spent the last week listening to the Carpenter stuff, reading my book, and going through and saying, I really like this, but I like this more, but oh, I don't know, I really need this one up here, and it was not easy, okay? So, I do this for your pleasure of watching me squirm. My top 30 Carpenters album tracks, let's rank them. Starting with number 30, Sometimes, from Carpenters. Sometimes was originally written by Henry Mancini's daughter, I believe her name was Felice, as a poem talking about her family. Henry set it to music, and then Richard and Karen recorded it for Carpenters. It was the end track on one of the two sides. And it's a beautiful little song. It has a very instrumental beginning where Richard is front and center on his keyboards, and then Karen's vocals take over. I love the sentiment behind this song. I love Karen's powerful vocal on this song. It is just an absolutely fantastic song. A lot of people don't give it much credit because of the first minute and a half is instrumental, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's a great, great song. So number 30, Carpenters, from Carpenters, Sometimes. Number 29 is the first of several songs from Horizon to make this list. I'm caught between Goodbye and I Love You. Horizon was the one album that was pretty much every song could have been a single except Aurora and Eventide, the two shorter bookends, which were each about a minute and a half each. Every song they did on this album could have been successful as a single. And three of them were Please Mr. Postman, Only Yesterday, which was my number one song of all time, and a Carpenter song of all time, and Solitaire. Goodbye and I Love You is another great song. John Bettis considers it the best composition that he and Richard did together. He loves it. It's a great song, and could have been a stronger. Any of the songs on this list might have actually performed better than Solitaire did on the pop chart. Solitaire did really well on the AC chart, but it stalled out at number 18 on the Hot 100. I'd have to look it up, but it was somewhere in the between 11 and 20. And as much as I love Solitaire, and I do love it, there were a lot of better songs not better songs, a lot of songs that could have done better chart-wise, radio-wise, on that album, and Goodbye and I Love You was one of them. It's just this sweet little, ballad about a breakup, something Karen sings beautifully every time, and it's just a great song. Number 29, from Horizon, I'm Caught Between Goodbye and I Love You. Number 28 is the only song from Made in America to make this list. Everything else is lower, and I only had one or two other songs because, as I said, despite the fact that Karen considered Made in America her favorite album, I don't. I think it's their weakest album overall. I think Made in America could have been a lot better. But there are one or two gems. Touch Me When We're Dancing, of course, the best song on the album, along with I Believe You. And the song at number 28 on my list, Strength of a Woman. This song, written by Carol Bayer Sager. Karen knocks this one out of the ballpark. It's obviously is a song about... It's almost a very more modern version of Stand By Your Man, but with a little bit more fire to it. Sometimes it takes the strength of a woman to understand the weakness of her man. It's a great, great song. I love Carol Bayer Sager as a songwriter anyway. She's fantastic. I have a couple of her albums too. Writes great stuff, and Karen's voice is perfect for that. And this was out at the same time Carol's first big chart success happened with Stronger Than Before. That's another song I'd love to hear Karen sing. As a whole, Made in America is my least favorite album from when Karen was still with us. And Strength of a Woman is one of the real high spots on that album. Number 28 on my Carpenters album tracks list is Strength of a Woman from Made in America. At number 27, this might surprise some people, because normally you wouldn't think of this song as the type of song Karen would sing. But that's what Passage was all about. It was about them stretching their wings, taking on chances. And Karen's interpretation of the Michael Frank song Buona She No Home is brilliant. This song, at number 27, I think it was made a hit back in, I don't know, the mid-70s, not first by Franks, but quite a few people recorded it, and nobody quite captures it the way it's done by Karen. The idea is the person that's in the song is a recluse, and they have a servant tell them she doesn't have visitors, she's never home, doesn't want to have anybody bothering her, and Karen brings the title of this, the feel of this song right down to what it's supposed to be. She's got a little bit of playfulness in her voice, a lot of power in her voice here. And I wish they had considered it um, a more important part of the album. Passage um, is a great album overall. People don't, it didn't get the greatest reviews when it was out there. But except for the On the Balcony of Casa Rosada, which I don't really like and I wish they hadn't bothered with, and Richard now says he would have never had Karen sing Don't Cry For Me Argentina, which she did a fine job with, but it wasn't one of my favorites. Um, the rest of the album really shines in the way that they were trying to take chances, and Buonascino Home is a perfect example. Number 27 from Passage. Excuse me. Number 26 is one of several songs from Offering / Ticket to Ride to make the list, and it dates back to Karen and Richard's days with their jazzy pop quartet Spectrum, or quintet, or sextet. I think there were 6 people in it. The song is All I Can Do. It's a very short song. It's only a minute and a half long. I included it because it's not a bookend, and it has a full-length story in it. Karen was 18 or 19 when she recorded this vocal, and it is just stupendously good. Love the way she sounds. It's done in, I think, 6/4. It's very fast timing, and it's done very well. I think that it is one of the highlights of that album. Offering has a lot of, it's so out there. Ticket to Ride, as most people know it, has a lot of people, a lot of songs that really span all different types of styles, and this is one of them. And you can hear Richard's jazzy, proggy influences in this song, and I think more people should give it a listen if you haven't heard it. Number 26 from Offering / Ticket to Ride, All I Can Do. Coming in at number 25, the Carpenters' version of one of Neil Sedaka's all-time classics, Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, from A Kind of Hush. Breaking Up Is Hard to Do has been recorded by so many people. Neil himself had a hit with it twice, once as an up-tempo song in the 60s and a ballad version in 1975, which Richard actually helped with, according to one of the books. I really like their upbeat take on this, the original up-tempo version. There have been versions, as I said, by so many people. It's one of the most recorded songs in history. My favorite, up to the point of the Carpenters version, was the Partridge Family's version from 1972. But Karen and Richard hit this out of the ballpark. They got great voiceovers going. They got great overdubbing going. And it's just very, very Carpenters sounding. One of my favorite songs on A Kind of Hush, as you'll see there's a couple more up here, and I really think it deserves a better shot, as not many people realize that it's out there. If they're not Carpenters fans or aren't familiar with A Kind of Hush, they don't even probably know Carpenters covered it, and that's too bad because it's really good. Number 25, Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, from A Kind of Hush. Number 24 is going to surprise people. It is the only song that is an instrumental on this list. It is an instrumental by Richard Carpenter from Now and Then, the song Heather. Heather is one of my all-time favorite instrumental songs. It was regularly featured on easy listening, beautiful music stations in the 1970s after it came out. Richard adapted it from a German song that was used for a jingle on a Geritol commercial in the early 1970s. If you don't know what Geritol is, you can tell you were born after 1970. Geritol was a regular sponsor of the Lawrence Welk Show. It is a geriatric vitamin. The song itself had nothing to do with that. It's a beautiful little piece, very lilting, very sweet. It is the only instrumental piece Richard did that made this list, and it deserved to. I love the way that this song, it reminds me of the best possible piano songs of the 1970s that were on easy listening / beautiful music channels. It makes great background music, and it's utterly very beautiful. People are going to go like, what is this on the list for? because I like it. Number 24, Heather from Now and Then, performed by Richard Carpenter on piano. At number 23, another song from A Kind of Hush, Sandy. I love this little ballad, and of course not to be confused with Oh Sandy Baby from Grease. This is a completely different song. And I love this. It's a very sweet, playful, almost Beach Boys-y feel to it, with Karen's vocals just shining all the way through. For an album that they neither one cared for, they produced a lot of good music for A Kind of Hush. I really enjoyed that album. I think it's a lot better than most Carpenters fans do, and I really enjoy Sandy. It's just a really great little number that is, hey, we love each other. Let's go spend some time together. Let's go to the beach. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's a great little song, and it deserves more attention than it gets, because it's on A Kind of Hush, which isn't one of the favorite albums of the fans, even though it's one of my favorite albums. So there you are. Number 23, Sandy from A Kind of Hush. Number 22 was an international single. It was released as a single everywhere except North America, and it was a big hit for them in Japan and England. Jambalaya on the Bayou from Now and Then. Classic Hank Williams song. I remember my uncle, who had a band when he was in high school. This was back when booze was 18 or older. And he and his friends would get liquored up and sing Hank Williams every weekend for the family. I never cared for this song until the Carpenters version came out, in all honesty. It's a bit weird to hear them singing this song, because you don't think of Karen and Richard as doing country bayou stuff. I mean, Jambalaya on the Bayou is about, it's basically a New Orleans-centric song, about a New Orleans-centric dish, and yet it's perfect for them. They have great harmonies on this. Richard's arrangements and instrumentation are fantastic. I'm sure, excuse me, I'm sure Hank Williams himself would enjoy their version of this song. And like I said, it was an international hit. It was not released as a single in the United States or Canada, but it was around the world, and it became a monster hit in Japan and Australia and the UK, and it deserved to be. It was a great song. From Now and Then, number 22 on my Carpenters album cuts list, Jambalaya on the Bayou. At number 21 is another track from Passage, Two Sides. This is the one song on Passage, one of two songs on Passage, the other being All You Get From Love Is a Love Song, that are very Carpenter sounding. I love this. I would have loved to hear Anne Murray do this too, or Sheena Easton would have done it great too. There's a lot of great potential here, but Karen delivers a stellar vocal on this breakup song, and she does really good at breakup songs. See, Hurting Each Other and all those that they did earlier. It makes me very long and ache for the kind of conflict she's going through. There's two sides to every situation. Great song, and a great performance of it too. Ironically, I Just Fall in Love Again, which was also on Passage, did just miss the top 30 and is better known by Anne Murray, although Karen did it first. This one, nobody else has done that I could find, at least not that I was aware of, and I love it, and I wish they had thought about this later as a single for later on after she'd passed on. Number 21, Two Sides from Passage. Moving into my top 20, these are the songs that I've never been able to get sick of. You can play them over and over again, and I'll never get tired of listening to them. Starting with number 20 from Offering/Ticket to Ride, All of My Life. This is one of my favorite ballads. They only released one single from Ticket to Ride. Well, technically, I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Ticket to Ride, the title track, was the hit single. It wasn't originally the A-side, as we'll talk about. But All of My Life would have made a great follow-up. It's a beautiful, typical Carpenter's Bettis love song. really powerful. And I like the very choral essence of the choruses, particularly the end of them. Um, this song is just beautiful from beginning to end and is one of my favorite Karen Carpenter performances. Number 20 from Offering slash Ticket to Ride, All of My Life. Number 19, I understand why this was never considered as a single off of Horizon because it was already too well known by Eagles and by Linda Ronstadt. But Karen's version of Desperado is flawless. Absolutely flawless. I love the Eagles version. I'm okay with Linda Ronstadt's version. But this version, this was, Karen's voice is perfect for this song. Maybe she should have covered more Eagles ballads because this was, I mean, this talk about knocking it out of the ballpark. And I've already said Horizon's my favorite album by them. This is just like, it's like manna from heaven. You get this great story with this great voice behind it. Richard's great arrangement of the song. This mournful sound in Karen's voice, that, you know, weary cowboy type thing. You normally, again, would not think of Karen singing something like this, and yet she nailed it all the way down. I just love their version of this song. It's been another one that's been recorded by tons of people over the years. None of them, even the Eagles version, don't come close to Karen's version. Number 19 from Horizon, Desperado. Number 18 is one of the songs I mentioned last week that was never a official single, although it received airplay as a B-side of Superstar, and from the soundtrack of the film it was from. Number 18, Bless the Beast and the Children. Bless the Beast and Children, there's no the in there. It was originally released with a slightly different arrangement on the soundtrack from the movie of the same name. The single arrangement was heard later on the album A Song for You. It kicks off side 2, I believe. This is a great song, and it's very Carpenters sounding. It has a similar sound to the way that it slow up into the upbeat and heavily overdubbed chorus sounds than Hurting Each Other or For All We Know. All those songs that they did a lot like that in the early 70s. And it's fantastic. The song is great, and it deserved all the airplay it got. It also got airplay on beautiful music stations, if some of them did play vocals occasionally, and that was one of them. And they definitely deserved it because it's very lilting at the same time as being, you know, the chorus is very... The chorus has elements of prog in it that are, well, Richard-style prog that really make it stand out. Number 18 on my list, Bless the Beast and Children from A Song for You. Number 17, always thought it was a mistake not to release this as a single from A Kind of Hush. It is better than Barry Manilow's version. Manilow's is known, and Carpenters people think it's a remake. No, Carpenters did it 2 years before Manilow did. Number 17, Can't Smile Without You. Love Karen's cover of this song. It is absolutely flawless again. The arrangement is quite different. Manilow's starts off slow and then gets up with that whole, you know, the whistle at the beginning, and then ends up with this loud Whitney Houston-esque sound at the end. Because Kim always says Whitney's always screaming at the end of her songs. No offense, Whitney. We miss you very much. This is just smooth and soft, and Karen enjoying this song. And I can hear how much she enjoyed doing this song in her performance. It is really, really stellar. I wish more people knew the stuff from A Kind of Hush. I really do, because it does not deserve the bad reputation it has. A lot of people don't like it because Richard was disappointed with it. Richard didn't need to be disappointed with it. It was a great album. And number 17 proves that. Can't Smile Without You. And so does number 16, Boat to Sail. I adore this song. Boat to Sail has been one of my favorite Carpenter songs ever since it came out. I love its lilting sounds. I don't remember if it's. I think that's the one written by Jackie DeShannon. It is really phenomenal. I've heard another version. I think it's hers, Jackie's, that I was not nearly as enamored with as I am with Karen and Richard's version on A Kind of Hush. I love Boat to Sail. It probably wasn't a single release like Can't Smile Without You could have been, and like Sandy could have been, and like Breaking Up Is Hard to Do could have been. It's definitely an album-oriented track, but it is really, really phenomenally good, and it usually has the best reviews of any of the songs on the album except I Need to Be in Love, which, as I said last week, I think is a little overrated. I love Boat to Sail, and I wish they had gotten more attention for it. I wish they had pushed it more. I think it was a B-side at some point, which really it doesn't deserve that either. I love Boat to Sail, and I want everybody to hear it. So if you haven't heard it, go over to the Spotify or wherever you have streaming music and go to Kinda Hush and listen to this song. You will be entranced by it. I love this song. Number 16, Boat to Sail from A Kind of Hush. And like the last two, both off A Kind of Hush, now we're coming up to a pair from Close to You. They are the only songs from Close to You to make my top 30, and they're back to back here. The first one at number 15 is Mr. Gooder. Now, people listen to this song and they have no clue what Richard is talking about in this song. Richard and John wrote this about their boss at Disneyland when they were in their 20s working as old-timey piano players at Disneyland. Richard said later that he regretted being so casually cavalier about this guy because he was just following orders. And Disneyland has some real strict rules when you work there. And one of them is you play only what you are told to play. And they would throw in more modern songs that people would request, and that was a no-no. It's a great little tale written about their boss, and they actually performed it on The Tonight Show when they appeared there in 72 or 73. Karen actually played drums while she was doing it, which is a rare thing to see on TV. And it's a great little song. It really is. I really think that it could be... there's a reason it's a favorite for Carpenters fans. And it is just... It's very tongue-in-cheek. It's also very, very catty. And like I said, Richard did regret kind of some of the snarkiness of the song, but it's still really terrific, and if you've not heard it, you should listen to it. Number 15, Mr. Gooder from Close to You. Number 14, I mentioned last week as one of my favorite album tracks, and it is also from Close to You, Richard Carpenter's incredible arrangement of Help, the Beatles song. This is very almost prog. It is that intense. They performed Help on television on Peggy Fleming's Variety Special in 69 or 70. I forget when. Must have been 70 because it was on Close to You, not Ticket to Ride. But I love their version of this. The Beatles song is great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's terrific. But I love the way Richard completely reimagined songs. One of my favorite things about Richard Carpenter is his ability to see a song in a completely different arrangement the minute he hears it. He's talked about that with For All We Know and Superstar, and Help is just mind-blowing. Of everything on this list, it is the most rearranged from anything you've ever heard of. I mean, with Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, some of the other stuff, Desperado, they're close to the originals. This doesn't even come close. This is more like a reinventing like Ticket to Ride was. And it is incredible. Karen's vocal here is stupendous. Again, she played drums when they did it on Peggy Fleming. And it was... I can still remember that performance even though I haven't seen it for 50 years. 50 plus years. It is just one of my favorite songs by them. And it is... I wish it would have got maybe if it had gotten some FM radio play in the 1970s, it might have made Carpenters a little more cool before Goodbye to Love came along and helped that out. But it was a terrific song, terrific arrangement. Richard deserves so much kudos for his vision of this song. Number 14, Help from Close to You. Number 13 is my favorite solo Richard Carpenter song on the albums. He does the lead vocals. Karen doesn't sing with him on the chorus. But Richard does lead on this. It's from Offering/Ticket to Ride. The song is Your Wonderful Parade. Another song that takes a pot shot at the working the working stiffs, the office people of the time, 1969, 1970. Richard's vocal is terrific here. His piano work is incredible here. And it was originally the A side of Ticket to Ride, which I didn't know until a week or so ago. Ticket to Ride was originally considered the B side of that single, and then it was flipped with the same number by A&M. That Ticket to Ride became the A side. So it wasn't a B side, an A side for very long. It was eventually the flip side of Ticket to Ride. But would it have been a hit as an A side? Probably not. It wasn't really right up there. But I've always loved Your Wonderful Parade. They performed it when they were the hosts of Make Your Own Kind of Music in 1971, I'm going to say. Not sure of the year. And it's by far Richard's best solo performance on any of the albums. And I really, really enjoy it. Number 13, Your Wonderful Parade from Offering/Ticket to Ride. Number 12, the title track from A Song for You from 1972. This song delivers at every level. This is the second Leon Russell song of 3 that Karen would take on. The first was Superstar. The third is coming up. And her vocal on this it runs every gamut there could be. She has that wonderful soft sound at the beginning, and then she has that lower reach as she gets into that, we're alone and I'm singing this song for you. I've, excuse my terrible singing, never heard a better version of this. It's been another one that's been recorded by a ton of people. Never heard a better version of the song ever. There's a reason it was the title track from the 4th album, and it got a lot of airplay on easy listening stations and beautiful music stations. And because I remember hearing it on the radio, even though it wasn't a single. And I mean, Karen and there seemed to be 2 outside songwriters that Karen was meant to work with. Paul Williams, whose stuff she just knocked out of the ballpark, and Leon Russell. And I cannot praise this song enough. It is absolutely one of the best, most pristine songs ever. And it definitely, I mean, especially when you hear it. It was released as one of the 2 quadraphonic albums by the Carpenters. The other one was Carpenters and Song for You. Both came out in quad. When you've heard it on quad, and I have, it's amazing. Number 12, A Song for You. Title track from A Song for You. Number 11 is the only song, no, second, one of 2 songs from Voice of the Heart, the first posthumously released album. And Now is the final song Karen ever recorded. She recorded it just 2 weeks before her death. And it was meant to be for an upcoming album. The song on this, the vocal on this is so, I mean, you'd never know she was so ill at this time. The voice is still strong, and this is a work lead. Richard, put together this song from a work lead. I can't imagine what it would have been like if she'd gone back in to do a solid, real vocal lead for the single. Some people say this was released as a single. I can find no evidence of that in America, and none really outside of America either. I think it got some airplay because of the album, But this song is just like heartbreaking, and I mean, just gut wrenchingly heartbreaking, um, and always will remain one of my favorite performances, and always will sadden me because it still shows she had so much yet to give and didn't get a chance to. Number 11, Now, from Voice of the Heart. Okay, into my top 10. This is going to surprise some people. There's going to be some surprises here. There'll be some, oh, we knew you'd like that, TC, here. But not number 10. You guys never would have guessed number 10. My number 10 is Eve from Ticket to Ride / Offering. Eve was written by Richard one evening, finished later by John Bettis, I'm assuming. The lyrics were written based on a character Richard had seen in an episode of, I want to say he said it was Tales of the Unknown. Carol Lenley played a character called Eve, and he wrote the song around that. I don't know whether Eve was a ghost or an android or what, but I really love this song. Karen's vocals on this song have made it one of my favorite songs since I was a tiny kid. It's been one of my favorite songs and is very much my very favorite song off of that album. I love Eve. Fans love Eve too, but it was never considered as a single, obviously. It's just mind-blowingly good. Karen's vocals here, Richard's backing. This was during the first album where they were experimenting on everything, so sounds really could change from bar to bar, and this song does in several places. It is just my favorite Ticket to Ride song overall. Number 10, Eve from Offering / Ticket to Ride. Number 9 from Horizon, Love Me for What I Am. Another song that might have done better than Solitaire had it come out as a single. Really, really top-notch ballad, love ballad here. It's basically the lyrics, the chorus, love me for what I am, for simply be me. Don't love me for what you intend or hope that I will be. What a great sentiment that is. Karen gave it oomph. I wish she had listened to its lyrics when she was dating Dr. Burris. And I'm not going to get into that, but, it's a soft spot with Carpenters fans. It's simply one of her best vocals ever. I mean, just really is. She nails it all the way across. Richard's orchestration is fantastic. I would have thought of this as a single for sure. And considering there were no singles for almost a year after Solitaire, there could have been one or two more singles from Horizon. And they didn't do it. So there you go. The next single would be Kinda Hush, and that was a year later. So they blew it with that one because it's another one that the fans consider that should have been a hit. Number 9, Love Me for What I Am from Horizon. Number 8, the one song from Love Lines that really just makes my heart melt every time I hear it, because I love the original by Christy McNichol, and I love Karen Carpenter's version of Slow Dance. It's number 8 on my list. Slow Dance is a very much of like a prom song, but man, Karen delivers a stellar version of it here. Excuse me. The original version was on Christy and Jimmy McNichol's debut album, only album, in 1978. And I remember when they hosted the fall 1978 ABC Saturday morning preview special, which was also a pilot for them getting a Donnie and Marie show, which didn't sell. And Christy's sitting there singing this song, and I'm laying in front of the TV like this. Of course, nobody knew she was a lesbian at the time, and so I had no reason not to have a crush on her. She was fantastic in that, and Karen actually topped it in some ways. It is such a great, great song, written by Phil and Mitch Margot, or just one of them, who were the basics of the Tokens in the 1960s, who produced Christy and Jimmy's album. It's just a beautiful little love song all the way around, and yeah, it's a very prom song, but it's fantastic. And Karen and Richard's hands, it's a masterpiece. Number 8, Slow Dance, from Love Lines, originally recorded for the album that never materialized in 1979. And I'm surprised it didn't make Made in America. Would have made a better choice than some of those songs. Um, Number 7 is another song, the highest of the songs that were released posthumously. Like I said a few minutes ago, Karen, when she wasn't singing Richard's music, the two songwriters that she really excelled at doing were Leon Russell and Paul Williams, or sometimes Paul Williams and Roger Nichols. Um, Number 7, Ordinary Fool, one of my favorite vocals by her ever on anything. Paul Williams wrote this song. I've heard his version, it's good. I've heard a couple other versions, they're good. Karen's is not good, it is legendary. The the emotion in her voice you can hear all the way from beginning to end. The delivery of the song is spot on all the way through. I was worried I wouldn't get to include it because I thought it was originally recorded for the solo album. It was not. It was originally recorded for Made in America and didn't make the cut. But I'll tell you, I don't know how this didn't make the cut for Made in America, or maybe it was an earlier album, because this song is so freaking pristine, and perfect, and I really think it's Karen at her, at her absolute best, emotion-wise. Number 7, Ordinary Fool. Now we get into the top 6. Now, normally we'd talk about top 5, but top 6, these are the songs that are Carpenters' staples. If I have the Carpenters on, you are going to hear these 6 songs, whether you like them or not. Some people don't like a couple of these. I do. I love them all. And number 6 is another one of those ones that got away because they chose not to release it as a single, and I will never understand why. Number 6, Let Me Be the One, from Carpenters. I actually prefer the version that was included in the box set Over the Top, which is now out under a different title, and I don't know if they have the same version on it, so I'd have to look. Because I like the little fun stuff at the end. This song, another Paul Williams, Roger Nichols song, blows everything out of the water. This would have been an ideal single from the album to follow up Superstar, Rainy Days and Mondays, all those. It was just brilliant, but Richard thought they were doing too many ballads and wanted to do something else, and eventually they would go on to do other stuff on Now and Then, and it would be and A Song for You, and it was just like the room comes to a stop when this song plays because I listen to it. I just listen to it. I love her vocal on this. I love the tempo change on the chorus. I love the key change for the bridge. Everything about it is awesome, and should have been a single, should have been a hit, would have been a big hit if it had been released. Number 6, Let Me Be the One, from Carpenters. Number 5 was one of those songs I mentioned last week that was an album hit. It got airplay on easy listening stations, on even some hot AC stations at the time, and beautiful music stations. And it's Karen's finest interpretation that wasn't released as a single, well, officially, of Leon Russell stuff, This Masquerade, from Now and Then. George Benson's hit version was fine. I liked it very much, but Karen and Richard and the instrumentation and the artists, their performing artist they used in the studio for this. This is a perfect Carpenters song. It was eventually released as the B-side, I think, of Please Mr. Postman, and got even more airplay. And it should have been a single on its own off of Now and Then. I always found it weird that they released I Won't Last a Day Without You off of A Song for You after the singles album came out. This Masquerade would have been a better choice. It's just a great song, and everybody already liked it. It was already getting airplay. Karen's vocal here, Crystal, just Crystal, is phenomenally good, and it deserves to be. And I've forgotten who the flautist is. Really fantastic job. Number 5, This Masquerade. My number 4 is going to divide people, because I know some people that absolutely loathe number 4. Why, I don't know. Maybe it's the sentiment behind the song, or the fact that Richard is also on the song with her. But I have loved this song from day one, and it's always ranked as one of my top Carpenter songs, albums, or singles. And it always will, because I just love it. Crystal Lullaby from A Song for You. Richard does a couple of the verses. Karen's voice is stupendously good here. And it's basically talking about a little girl in a fantasy land. And it is really, really great. It's a bedtime story, basically. That's why Crystal Lullaby. It is a bedtime story. Talking about a little girl falling asleep and dreaming of 10 soldiers sitting on her shoulder and so on and so forth. I love this song. I can't get enough of this song. I've always adored it. Some people I know can't stand it. It was the flip side of Goodbye to Love, and it was the exact opposite of that song. Goodbye to Love, with its wonderful fuzz solo from Tony Peluso. It really spotlights the soft side of the Carpenters in a way that most people are used to Close to You, and those. This is a little bit different, and it's a little bit lyrically different because it's a lullaby, basically. And it really is a great song. Number 4, from A Song for You, Crystal Lullaby. The one ballad that I thought that they should have done as a single that they never did is my all-time favorite love ballad from Carpenters that wasn't released as a single. Number 3, One Love from Carpenters. Remember Karen singing this on Make Your Own Kind of Music, standing there with the big K for Karen behind her because it was based on the alphabet, and singing this song. This song should be a universal wedding song. Substitute the words "this man" for the name Stan in the one line, and you got a universal wedding song. It just talks about finding the one love of your life, and I've loved this song ever since I heard it. So we're talking about 50 years ago, because this is off Carpenters, which is 1971. 51 years ago, and I still love this song. It's still a perfect song. It would be a perfect song. As somebody, you find a great voiced person to sing this, and I could still see it being a hit for somebody else. Just substitute that, like I said, make that one word substitute to take the name out. Richard loved putting names in songs, and it was so irritating sometimes. I adore One Love. It is number 3 on my list. Number 2 on my list has also been there ever since it came out. And it's the other song of the ones I mentioned that some people really love and some people just don't care for it. And in this case, I don't know whether it's the instrumentation or the subject matter. Because it is a very down song. But I love the vocals. I love the arrangements. And it's telling what they were feeling at the time. because they just were touring endlessly. Number 2 from A Song for You, Road Ode. I believe it was written by their friend Randy Edelman, if I'm not mistaken. It's the travels of being on the road, talking about life on the road, singing, getting praises for your singing and having everybody enjoy it, but never being able to get back home. Again, the same people that didn't like Crystal Lullaby tend not to like this song, and I really don't understand why. Karen has this wonderfully mournful exhaustion in her voice, because that's what the song is supposed to convey. I adore this song. I've loved it since it came out, so again, we're talking 50 years this year. And I've used it in productions. Whenever I do a travel video or whatever, I tack this on the end of it because I love this song. I always have. I think it's one of Richard's best arrangements. He's done some really great stuff with the vocal layering on the choruses, and it runs right into, at the end, into the reprise of A Song for You that can close us out the album. It's just unparalleled in the way that it sounds and the way that it speaks to you if you're a music fan, if you especially have ever been on the road. Number 2, Road Ode from A Song for You. Gonna take a drink. Because we're up to number 1. Yoo-hoo! At number 1. Number 1 is the song they blew it with. They put it on a flip side when it should have been an A side because it would have been a top 10 hit. And I believe that to this day. This song is probably my second or third favorite Carpenter song overall, singles and album tracks. I love this song. I have loved this song since the album came out. And isn't it coincidental that it was the flip side of my number 1 Carpenters released single? Number 1 Carpenters album track, Happy from Horizon, written by Tony Peluso. Unbelievably upbeat song with the first time the Carpenters ever had synthesizers on their music. Released in 1975 as the flip side to Only Yesterday, and then in the full album Horizon. Happy is just, it just puts a big smile on my face every time I hear it. I actually charted it in the late 80s, early 90s on my chart because I was playing it so much. I'm like, what the hell? Let's put it on the chart. And that's what we did. Happy is the way I'm feeling, and it all becomes from being with you. All at once, my life is changing because I'm falling in love with you. This is a great love song. It is a top-notch love song, and it should have been an A-side. Richard, what were you thinking? It should have been an A-side. Number 1 album track of all time from Carpenters, Happy from Horizon. So, there's my list, the top 30. Not going to go into any of the other ones because it just gets too crazy, and I've had enough trouble adjusting the top 30. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you will enjoy my upcoming shows I have planned for Rank This, and I hope that you will let me know if you'd like me to try something, because this is going to be a lot of suggestions. I might try it anyway. Right now, these are the ranks that I got next 2 or 3 weeks figured out, but I am a huge Carpenters fan, and these 2 weeks have killed me actually having to rank these. It is this ranking stuff is not easy. It really isn't, because I got to go with my gut and my heart, and they fight all the time. Especially with Carpenter stuff. The same thing's going to happen with Hanson and Def Leppard when I get around to doing them. Maybe a few other ones, Manilow, Dolly Parton, a few of the other ones. We'll see. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I would appreciate it. I have a subscription contest going on. If you'd like to subscribe and take part, you can. Go over and see my contest entry thing from about a week ago. Gonna have lots more coming up on Rank This. A lot of singles, albums, different types of stuff, all different kinds of music-related mediums I will be ranking. And I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get a kick out of it. And I do hope you'll leave a comment and let me know what you think. And let me know what you think, where you would rank your favorite Carpenters album tracks as well. Until next time, for Rank This, I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Ciao, baby.